Hello there! In today's video I'm going to show you how to make these delicious Jerusalem artichoke or sunchoke chips. And in my previous two videos, the first video we talked about the various benefits of Jerusalem artichokes, namely that they're high in fiber, they're a wonderful prebiotic, and they have a lower glycemic load than potatoes, so they make a great potato substitute. In my second video, I showed you how to harvest these sunchokes. So now today I will show you what you can do with them. Watch me as I show you how to make these. They're so versatile. They're great as a garnish for soups, for example, or any other dish. They're wonderful in salads to provide a little bit of crunch, something different. And not to mention, they're also good just for eating on their own. Here are my Jerusalem artichokes, and I'm going to preheat my oven to 375 degrees. I had to soak these multiple times first because they did have a lot of dirt on them, but once I did that, now they're completely clean. If you have a vegetable scrubber, that can be nice to use on these because there's a lot of little nooks and crannies where it might be a little hard to get the dirt out otherwise. If something's really giving you a problem and you can't access it with a scrub brush, you can actually just cut off like this whole piece here, for example, and then give it another rinse to make sure all the dirt gets out completely. Okay, so what we have now is you have our sunchokes or Jerusalem artichokes, and all I'm doing is I'm shaving them into thin slices. These are really thin, paper thin, and you can kind of see them through the light there. But there's different ways that you can do this. If you have a mandolin, that might make for the nicest looking slices. I don't have a mandolin though, and I'd be willing to guess that a lot of you don't have mandolins either, but many people have these box graters, and they have a side that looks like this, and what that'll do is it'll shave it into the thin slices that you're looking for. And obviously be careful with your fingers here, especially when you get down to the ends. And in fact, when I get down to the ends, what I'm going to do is just use a knife because I don't want to get too close. So you can see now these are the thinly shaved slices that we're looking for. But because I still want to keep my fingers, I will show you that if you don't have a box grater, you can make slices like so with your knife. Like that. So either way. So now you can see I have my beautiful paper thin Jerusalem artichoke slices. And the main thing to keep in mind is you want these all to be relatively the same thickness. Otherwise they might cook and bake unevenly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these slices in a single layer on a parchment lined baking sheet. I've used foil and I've used parchment. The parchment for me works a lot better. I don't know why, but the artichokes tend to stick to foil more than they do parchment paper. So definitely use parchment. And as you can tell, I'm not super crowding them, but I can really pack quite a few onto one single sheet here. So I'm just gonna keep going along and doing this until my entire tray gets full. Now I have all my sunchoke chips spread out in an even layer on my parchment-lined baking sheet. My oven is up to temperature at 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and all that's left to do is I'm going to just give this a sprinkling of salt, a very light sprinkling of salt. You don't want to go too heavy-handed. I made that mistake my first time making them, and they're pretty inedible because I put too much salt on. So something like that is all that you need. And if you had fresh rosemary to chop up really finely, or any other herb, sage might be nice too, you could feel free to sprinkle that on here. For simplicity's sake, I'm just using salt today, but those are some options that you can have. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven, set it to bake. And now set your timer for 10 minutes. 10 minutes has passed, and I have taken my sunchoke chips out of the oven, And you can see them now. They are quite different in color. They are a little bit brown. The first time I made these I thought they were burned, but actually they still taste really delicious when they're that color. This is about getting a little borderline. I still think it'll taste good, but any darker than that and you might have burnt them. So that's why it's a good idea to keep an eye on these, because they are so thin, things can really turn in a matter of a minute. But I'm just gonna let these cool just like this on the tray for a few minutes, and after that I'll check them for seasoning. If I need to add a little more salt, I will do so, and otherwise then they're done. So now that these have cooled, let's give them a try. They're so crunchy, they're still kind of nutty, a little crispy, a little salty. They're perfect. So good. Well, now you know how to make something that seems quite fancy, but it's actually very simple. And if you grow your own, it's really cost effective too. If you like what you saw today, go ahead and hit the subscribe now button. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.